What is going on, Earth2 novice, enthusiasts, and everyone in between? Thank you for joining me for another episode on Earth2, the wonder, the majesty, the mystery, and the marvel. How do you like that? That's a great intro. Probably my best intro so far. I wanted to give you guys some updates right from Shane Isaac, the CEO of Earth2. First off, if you're watching this on Meal Prep Biz 101, my primary channel, you're getting this at least a day late. I always upload everything a day, like real time. This is live right now on my second channel that's more dedicated to the Earth2.io content. That channel's name is Intentional Being. It's probably, there's going to be a link in the show notes so you can find it. Make sure you subscribe there. You can subscribe to both. I don't mind. But if you want real time, up-to-date information on Earth2.io, the best place to find it is going to be on Intentional Being. So check that out in the links below if you're not watching it there. If you are watching this live Friday, 6:05 Eastern Standard Time, then you are on the right channel. So let's get into it. Now, they've been doing some, obviously, if you guys have been trying to get on, there's been some screens popping up saying that they're working on the servers and they're shutting down for several hours at a time. 1 to 3 hours is normally what they try to predict. And it's been frustrating, but I have been noticing I've been able to make purchases. I don't know about you guys, but my purchases have been easier and everything seems to be working better. There are still some hit or miss times, but it seemed like it got way worse, and now it's gradually getting better. Obviously, with more people continuing to find out about this, they are going to continue to have this trouble trying to keep up with the servers, but we're seeing some difference. Where they said they were going to work on it. They worked on it. It's getting improved from my perspective. So let's jump into this. From Shane, hope you're all enjoying the server upgrades. The team and myself have been working extremely long hours to make this happen. There are a few bugs. Please There are a few bugs. Please refrain from exploiting those, as we are able to detect whether or not you have been intentionally exploited or not. We are also aware of some are having issues logging in, both existing users and new user signups. We will aim to have that issue resolved within the next 24 hours. So please keep an eye out for the update regarding that. Well, the 28-hour shift. Well, a 28-hour shift, and I am not feeling so well, so I'm off to sleep a little. As I need to wake up. Looks like he's tired. He's doing some spelling errors. You can understand. As I need to wake up for meetings in 5 hours time. Have a good day. And that was from yesterday. Now these are from today. Update. We are aware that new signups are having and some existing users are having issues logging in. As you mentioned before, we hope to have this resolved within the next 12 hours. And then later today, dear Earth2 users, a few hours ago, a fix was deployed for login issue, and we have been monitoring. Login for those affected seems to be operational now, and most users should be able to log back in. We would like to note that any users, let's get into the juicy stuff, any users have been intentionally attempting to exploit our system from within their accounts the past 2 days should refrain from using their accounts and contact us immediately. Basically, if you've been doing anything bad and you don't want your account shut down, you better reach out, fess up to it, apologize, and allow them to identify you before they have to find you. We maintain logs of all internal transactions, traced IP addresses, and are currently mapping out connections from the transactions of all those accounts, so it would be advisable to contact us first if you wish your account to remain active and further actions taken. Attempting to intentionally exploit our system could be considered a criminal act, and we will protect and defend the best interests of other users who are playing fair. Thank you. So I mentioned this once before. If you guys saw my other live update, man, time is so weird. It seems like it was forever ago, but also yesterday at the same time. But my other live update, when I went over the live stream that Shane and the developers were on, that was one thing that they were mentioning. They said that they are aware of people in there trying to scam the system and find loopholes, and between pumping land and who knows what else. I mean, I know that they're not going to explicitly say this is what people are doing, because unfortunately there are going to be some people with less than the best intentions who are going to get ideas from them mentioning exactly what these exploits are. So I can only imagine what else there is. Pumping is one of the most obvious ones. If you're not familiar with pumping, it's basically, I'm not going to get into it, but it's basically falsely inflating the price temporarily to make your value, the value of your land, worth more, and then you try to offload it to some sucker who sees the price up here and you're selling it for here. He buys it here, and in reality, the price corrects and comes back here. And I've gone over that in other videos, so check that out. Especially the scam video that I made. I go over what pumping is and how you find it in stocks, especially penny stocks and cryptocurrency, and small volume stuff like this is just, it's easily exploited through pumping groups and things like that. And I know that's what a lot of people are doing. It's bad. I wouldn't be doing it. I know not to do it. I know listen, guys, it's only a matter of time before this is seen as an asset, a commodity, just like cryptocurrency. At first, there was no regulations, but people have been arrested for doing cryptocurrency scams because all of this stuff is logged by computers. So if you think you're being slick, you're not, because this is all being logged, and they will come back and they will shut down your account, and they will track where your money went through and what bank account it's going into. You think you're using a VPN or something, you're clever. Dude, these guys are way more clever than you. You know how I know? Because you didn't come up with Earth2 and they did. So they are busy trying to, bring this thing to fruition. They did mention it's very frustrating to hear that they're frustrated with the fact that they're trying to, fix what's necessary to be fixed and provide the best experience for all of us who are playing by the rules. But unfortunately, they have to keep on pausing and going after these scammers and these guys who are hacking in and doing whatever else they're doing. I don't care what they're doing. I just hope that they all stop. If you have any kind of inkling to do any of these scams, get in any of these pump groups, enjoy it while it lasts, because they will find out. I mean, you're not going to just have your money in here. It's going to have to go to your bank account. So it's not like you can just take it out and they won't be able to find you. They'll figure it out. And if it gets into, like, if you're in the States and you have to deal with the SEC, you do not want to deal with the SEC. So please, guys, just play by the rules. Don't get involved in any of those pump groups. It not only is it bad karma, even if you got away from it and got away with it here, it's going to catch up to you somewhere else. But it's just not smart. And it's very short-term thinking. This is a long-term thing. So don't cut off your nose to spite your face. I hope that translates into other language as well. It's a very weird saying that we have in the States. But basically, don't shoot yourself in the foot, or whatever analogy, whatever proverb saying you want to use. Play nice, play fair, and please let these guys get some rest and allow them to focus on what they need to be focusing on for the better of everybody. This is not going to be going away. If you take the shortcuts right now, you will be regretting it. That's all I wanted to jump on and say. I do have some other videos planned. I've been super busy here out in space, as you guys can see, in the space lab. No, I'm just kidding. We're doing chores today. I'm catching up on all sorts of stuff from 2020 that I should have been doing, and just trying to. Oops, sorry, I got a little distracted there. Just trying to catch up on tying up the end of 2020 so I can have a nice clean slate for 2021. But I do have some videos planned. They should be releasing. I've been pretty good at popping out content pretty regularly between this channel and my other channel. So I'm going to keep the grind going. I've got some stuff coming up next week. So I'm really trying to get as much content planned, shot, edited, and put out while it is still relevant. I've got a lot of stuff for beginners, a lot of stuff for strategy and theory and stuff that has been evolving. There's also going to be some shows that I've done with Swolenormous. If you're not familiar with Swolenormous, check him out. He's a big YouTube dude. Papa Don is up 60% right now. Rock on, man. I don't know. How long have you been in the game, Papa Don? How long have you been buying? Because I'm up a pretty crazy amount, but obviously it's all relative to how long you've been in. MN Minnesota Twins fan. Now I know this game. Let me bring this up. There's Papa Don up 60%. Congrats on that. It's better than I'm seeing anywhere else, man. Now I know this game is very young, but do you think it could eventually be bought out by a big company like Facebook? You know what? That was a conversation I was actually having on a show that I did with Swolenormous. So it was perfect timing for that question. As I was mentioning, check out Swolenormous on YouTube. We're going to be doing some videos together. He's got a pretty big following, pretty interesting dude. But yeah, that was one thing that we were thinking about, because I'm sure you guys, I know some of you have made this connection out there, but Who's one of the founders of Earth2? Mr. SEO, Mr. CO. And what else was he a founder of? Oculus. Who bought out Oculus? Facebook. So the funny thing is, you mentioned specifically Facebook. I do see Facebook eventually wanting to. If I were Facebook, I'd definitely have my eye on Earth2 right now, and I would definitely want to buy it because Facebook is all about communities. That's how they know that they're going to win really any kind of long-term plan that they have. And a lot of companies nowadays, if you notice, they don't necessarily just focus on developing something that is first and best. They'll buy out anybody who's got a proven model of some kind of software or platform that is proven to be first, best, or biggest, at least. So I would totally see a bigger company trying to buy these guys out. Right now, I don't think they're going to have any funding problems. So I'm wondering if they would be interested in being bought out by anybody, but I do think the long term of this is somebody, and I think Facebook would probably be the best company to do it. I think Facebook would be very interested in doing it, especially because not only did I mention, Oculus, VR, this is going to be VR world, like, of course, but I also think that Facebook is continually getting their name, dragged through the mud, and rightfully so. They have been doing some stuff that isn't in the best interest of their users. So I think probably to either earn some interest back or to basically just force us to stay addicted to using their platform, they would definitely want to be in control of a project on this scale with this much potential. I mean, it's huge. And if and look at Facebook right now, it's a company that not only sells ads, but they also have to sell shares of their stock, because they're publicly traded. So as soon as a company goes publicly traded, their mindset has to change. They don't just sell widgets now. Now they also sell shares of their company to investors. And a way to make that look appealing is to have something exciting, that especially something that would just fit into something they're already doing. That Oculus, acquisition that they did years ago, this is going to put them in a very good position for that. So Papa Don just started a few days ago, invested $15, and you're at 43. That's what I love about this is, and I always say, people are constantly asking, you'll see the questions, everyone's asking, how much should I invest? How much should I invest? I've got a new answer for you guys. Normally, and this still is the answer I want to use. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. But also, here's a nice way to get a comfortable number in your head, like a nice round number, because that's a little abstract. What can't you afford to lose? You could afford to lose a lot. Here's a question. If you were to walk into a casino and you were to place one bet at the roulette table on either black or red, what's the most amount of money you'd be willing to do? Because this is either going to explode and be amazing and huge and give you a bunch of money, get a great return on your investment, or it'll fizzle out and it'll be nothing. So that's the way I look at it. Now, there's a lot of variables in between, but without us becoming analysts or fundamentalists and going through white papers and charts and speculations and all that other stuff, 50-50, red or black, how much would you be willing to throw down, one-time bet it, make it, walk out of the casino, or bet it, lose it, walk out of the casino? So figure out what that number is, play with it. Never play with anything you can't afford to lose, though. But yeah, man, $15 into 43. I don't see that kind of return much, many other places. I definitely think that there will be some crypto coming up in the very near future. I think they have a lot of really interesting stuff under wraps. I've mentioned this before, between especially, not wanting to let other competitors, come out with something that they're working on still. Because you got to imagine these guys, there's probably some other companies who had an idea like this. And now there's a lot of other companies who didn't have an idea like this, and they are now thinking about that, and they're raising money. And now they can point to the success of Earth2 and say, see, look at all the money they raised. Now give me some money for my project, and I'm going to make Earth3. And, give me your money. We'll develop the software and everything else. But look, these guys have proven that there's a strong interest in the market for this, just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first. And then if you look at how many ICOs, which is an initial coin offering, it's basically the cryptocurrency version of an IPO. When a company goes public, initial public offering, and ICOs, an initial coin offering. Look at how many ICOs popped up each and every year. Like, it was growing. It went from dozens to hundreds to now thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. And it's all because Bitcoin proved that people are ready to back this, believe in it. There is a need in it in the market, and there is trust now behind it. Now look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the first. They're the biggest. They're still going to be the biggest. I don't know how long they'll be the biggest, but for the foreseeable future, I believe so. And everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin Cash is going to be better, and Bitcoin Gold's going to be better, and Ethereum's going to be better. They all have their own thing, but at the end of the day, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's like synonymous with cryptocurrency itself. You can't even say cryptocurrency without thinking Bitcoin, right? It's going to be like this with Earth2. They will have competitors. There will be some other companies that try to do this, but these guys are first to market. They are the name to be right now. Let's say when Estonia got pumped, I was at 100. Yeah, people get excited. Like, look at my portfolio. My buddy was like that the other day. It was up like 4x. And I was like, don't, unless you're able to sell what's being pumped right now, which you probably won't be able to, don't get too excited. Just, this is long term. Nobody has to be rich tomorrow on this. This is long term. Everyone's like, oh, I'm too late to it. I didn't invest enough. Listen, another thing I keep mentioning, how many of your friends and family know about this? Most people you talk to about this look at you like you're crazy, just like when I was first telling people about cryptocurrency. So they are working on the income tax. It is every day now. I know that any day now. I know that they have tried multiple times to launch whatever patches or whatever, and the servers are just inundated. And right now it's like, do we cater to the people who are already there, or do we try to make it so that everyone can get paid? And do we try to make it so we can bring these new people on and meet this demand? And I think the initial goals are keeping everything running, because obviously with everything running and us being able to get on and buy land, not only does it bring more money into the project, obviously that's a benefit for them, but also it keeps the faith in the project. I haven't heard too many people crying that the income tax isn't, getting pumped to them, because it's really such a small amount in relation to the investment that you have and the money that's being influxed. And they have promised, again, everything's being recorded. They have promised they are going to get us all caught up. So everything that we're owed, it will be caught up. I think it will be within the week. I was honestly thinking it was going to be last week. So don't, take my word as gospel, but I think these guys are working crazy hours. You saw Shane, I mentioned Shane said he was doing a 28-hour shift. That is commendable. These guys really deserve a lot of our patience, and hats off proverbially to them, whatever that word is. Let's say, what is the limit you think we should invest? Like, should we go all out? That is up to you. What would you, if you were to walk in and you went to a baccarat table, or you went to a roulette table, some kind of 50-50 or close to 50-50 odds in a casino, because neither of those are really 50-50. But what would you be comfortable with putting on one bet, black or red, dealer or player? What would that amount be? A couple $100 for some people, $15 for some people. I don't want to tell you either way it's a sure thing, because nothing's a sure thing. I'm very optimistic about it though, so I probably am willing to put more than most people. But it comes down to what you're comfortable with. There's also like that number. Look at what countries you're looking to purchase, and how much of it you really feel you would need. That kind of, how much would make it interesting but not damaging. Want to see my E2 profile? I'd love to. I have no idea how you'd be able to share that, but I'm down to dig into anything. You said you were in Estonia. You bought some Estonia real estate. I was really close to buying. I don't think I ended up making any Estonia purchases. What is the best continent to buy in? It's all speculation. So again, none of this is investment advice. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got experience in losing money in all sorts of places. So I definitely know there is risk, no matter how sure a sure thing seems to be. But the continents that I like right now, North America seems pretty expensive. Mexico, Canada, and the US obviously seem pretty expensive. There's a lot of people who ran right to Europe as well. So me personally, I've been purchasing a lot in Africa and South America, just because the price for the countries there are cheaper. The way I look at it is if you have a country that's at 10 cents, or let's say it's more realistic because there's nobody really at 10 cents anymore. Let's say you got a country at 20 cents and a country at $2 and you have $10. You could buy 5 plots of land at the country that has $2 plots, or you could buy 50 at the country that has 20-cent plots. Now, I feel like it would be easier to expect, it'd be more realistic to expect that 20 cents to go to 40 cents quicker than expecting the $2 to go to $4. Both of them would be doubling. So you'd be doubling your money in each instance. But what I've seen is trading and investing is very much affected by psychology. It's all humans. Like for now, we don't really have any. What I like about this is there isn't a whole lot. I don't think there's any AI in there buying this stuff. You get into crypto and stocks, there are AI systems that you're trading against. So it gets a little bit more interesting. But there's just something about the idea of that number. The guy behind you, when he's coming in, where do you think he's going to want to invest? Is he going to want to buy 50 squares of land at 20 cents, or is he going to buy 5 squares of land at $2? That plays, because if you buy in before him, his money shores up your investment. Now, if there's more of him, if 9 out of 10 people are going to be going for that 20-cent piece of land just because they're coming in with a small amount of money, that's what's very attractive about this, is there's a lot of people who are coming in with small amounts of money. And that means that, to me, I'm speculating, I think that they would be more interested in seeing the value of their dollar. It feels like you're getting more. I mean, you're literally getting more land. And with everything going up, it seems like it just comes down to how fast it's going to go up. Because we're playing with a couple of variables here. We're playing with price and time. That's the relationship with any kind of trading. If I can double my money in 6 months versus 6 days, where, I'm obviously going to want to be doubling my money in 6 days. So that's what I would consider. Again, that's just me. This is not financial advice or anything else. I'm not claiming to be a guru or anything. I'm just sharing my honest opinion of what I've been doing, where I've been buying. And, I'm happy to pay the karma forward. I think it's almost impossible to sell during a pump and dump. That's probably for a good thing, because you definitely don't want to be one of those people who's caught up in the FOMO and you see something going up and you buy it and it was being pumped and you see it get slammed down. So far, I haven't been caught in any of those pump and dump traps yet when something is too heavily discounted, because you understand when you guys are on the market, that's really where you're going to see the biggest scams, because it's going to be most alluring right there. It's going to be so attractive when you see something that's being sold for 50% off. Well, in reality, the price that it's being sold for is probably several times what it's really worth, but it's just pumped up to here. It's, let's say it's $1. They pump it to 10, they sell it for 5, and you're like, man, I'm getting it for 50% off. I got to hurry up and buy that before somebody else. I see that 50% discount. That sounds great. You don't see that when you're pumping and when you're buying land. When you're purchasing land and the price is pumped, you're just like, wow, this is really expensive. That's really weird that Algeria is a pretty unknown country and it's at $10, huh? Well, give it a little while, it drops down to 1. Meanwhile, if some guy bought it on the market for 5, thinking he's getting a 50% deal, and it drops down to $1, and you're like, that's not good. Now, for you guys in other countries, is everything in US dollar? I was assuming that they've priced everything in US dollar just to keep it as even as possible, but that is an assumption. Do you think things like farming will be included in resources? That is a question I have discussed back and forth. At first, I thought no, and then I immediately started second guessing it. And now I'm thinking, my thoughts, I've mentioned this other times in videos and going live. If I were in control of this, if this was my project and I wanted this to be the biggest thing ever, I would want to plan for it to be as detailed as possible. So I would want it to be as close to Earth as possible. Is it realistic for video games to have food and like a necessity for food? Yeah, at first you're like, no, but I mean, Grand Theft Auto, what was it? Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You had to eat. Like, you had to get your guy in the gym and work him out. I'm a huge Grand Theft Auto fan. So you had to get your dude in the gym, working out. He had to be eating, like I think if he wasn't eating enough, he couldn't run a long period of time or something like that. So why not? They don't want this game to be easy. I mean, easy games aren't fun. To have these little differences and these nuances. So yeah, I do think agriculture is going to be a part of this. I do think, buying in fertile lands is going to be good, more than just like timber. I do expect, natural resources to get pretty detailed as well. Maybe not initially. As I said before, I think gold and oil are a pretty safe bet, even though initially I was like, why would they have oil? Why would they have fossil fuels in this virtual world? And it's like, well, why not? It's part of the game. So yeah, it is in USD. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured it'd be too complex if they were doing like conversion and all that other stuff, because then you got to worry about the conversion of that currency and all this other stuff. It'd be really complicated. I live in Iceland. Yeah, the game's in US dollars. Yeah, and I also noticed that they if you see my video on how to get money out, and I've got a link to Transferwise when you guys are ready to take your cash out. If you want to take your cash out, I've got a link to Transferwise. I am going to be doing an update on that because I have decided to take some money out, mainly for educational. I want to tell you guys what to expect, what it's like, how long it takes, because I know that's going to gradually change, and eventually I think they're going to have a much faster process that they're working on. But I have had some people who they've expressed they want to get money out, and I've noticed that they say in the instructions to make sure that your bank can take US dollars because that looks like the preferred currency. And so I guess it does make sense to have it in there. What are some cheap class 1 tiles that you'd recommend nowadays? That's another reason that I like Africa and South America. A lot of the tiles, not only are they cheap, but they are still class 1. To be honest, some places I've been buying in recently were the last 2 purchases I made were in Guyana in South America and Gabon in Africa. So those are the last 2 countries I was buying in. I'm trying to focus on stuff that's under 20 cents right now because, like I said, everything's going up. And, I'm not trying to buy these. I'm trying to make my dollar go further. And I just feel like for my investment strategy, I that's what I'm kind of sticking to right now. So that's what I've been, attracted to. If that changes, I'll update you guys. I'll let you guys know when I decide to, spend a much higher amount on any of the land. And I'll tell you why, because it would have to be some kind of justification. Like I saw Bangladesh, someone made a pretty good argument about Bangladesh because there's a lot of internet users. Obviously, if you're playing in you live in Bangladesh, you have internet, and you find out about this, you're going to want to be buying some places in Bangladesh. That makes sense. The countries that have less internet users, there's probably going to be less people interested in buying that country because most of that money is going to be coming from, out of country people who we normally go to the places that we're most familiar with, right? That's where the dollars go first. That's why the US took off, is because so many people in the US got in on this trend, got in on this new, I don't want to call it a trend because that seems so short term, but this new wave of technology. And but that's what I'm looking at is, Gabon and Guyana. Those were the last 2 that I purchased. I haven't done any purchasing today. I've been super busy. I will be doing some purchasing. So if you're interested in having me use your referral code, there's a link in the show notes that will get you to a form where not only am I pumping out information on where I'm buying and like gold mines or salt mines that I find, but also I will be using your referral code to make my purchases. I'm doing random raffles and just grabbing people's codes as I go and make purchases. So let's see what other questions we have here. I've been using Transferwise for a year now. They will be able to send directly money. Will they be able to send it directly within Transferwise, or do you provide your Transferwise US account and routing number to them? I haven't gotten that far. So where I am is the first stage where I think it was 2 days ago, I emailed them. I told them that I wanted to use Transferwise, and the instructions for sending bank information is obviously sending them your account number, bank name, and all that jazz. So I'll see. And now I noticed with Transferwise, and you're probably familiar with this, there's also a debit card that you can get with Transferwise. So if you didn't want to send it to your bank account, you could just use your debit card. It's all up to you. I like that it has that option. I have that option with my PayPal account, with my Venmo account. So I like having it so that you don't have to leapfrog it 2 steps to get into your bank account before you can spend it, because that's just days. Cambodia is at 16 cents. Go for it. I'm all about that. I was buying land at 17 cents. The salt mines I was buying were 17 cents. So I'm all about 16 cents. Cambodia is a beautiful place. They've got, agriculture and all sorts of stuff there. So buying in Dhaka. I'm not even sure where Dhaka is. What's been interesting is I'm learning so much about geography and geology and, what are the telltale signs of oil fields? What are the telltale signs of gold mining and refinement and stuff like that? I mentioned that in one of my videos where I tell people what to look for gold. I'll send you that video if you, that's another thing. If you fill out that form, the contact form, you'll get an automated email that'll send you a link to a video where I show you where salt mines are, and then also instructions on how I'll send you links to 2 different spots that have gold mines, what to look out for gold mines. Bangladesh does sound promising. I agree. I haven't bought any yet. Maybe I'll do that tonight. No, you just have to do it once. I'll eventually, I'm just picking everybody randomly. So, I mean, you could do it multiple times. It's all just random. I'm not picking from anywhere specifically on the list. I'm just going boom. And then I'm like highlighting if I've used that person before. So whatever, you don't have to do it multiple times. But if you want to, you can. Recently bought in Peru. I'm also an owner in Peru and the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Supposedly higher resources, dense areas. I think these were both there. Oh, so they're about 40 cents right now. I remember when I was buying in the DRC, I think it was like 15 or 16 cents. So it's obviously gone up a bit. I'm not even looking at my portfolio, or they call it profile, but it should be a portfolio. But I'm not even looking at the land value or anything. I'm just looking at where my next moves are. So I go in there every once in a while. I'm like, oh, how much did I buy that for? Oh, wow, that's nice. I have a debit card basically asking if they'll send it to my Transferwise username, because from Transferwise to Transferwise is instant. I believe they will send it. I haven't done it yet, but I believe it will go right to your Transferwise. That was something that was recommended by the CEO. Now, it's probably not only faster, but I know some people were a little iffy about putting out their routing and account number, because you have to email it to credits at Earth2.io. And don't just send them an email. You got to give them all this other information. It will take a few days for them to get back to you. So make sure you give them everything right the first time. But some people were concerned about sending out their account and routing number to their bank. So the CEO, Shane Isaac, also said Transferwise is another option. And I'm also guessing one of the other benefits is it's faster. Now, moving it from Transferwise to your bank account might take a little bit longer, but that's why it's cool to have that debit card, is you wouldn't have to, wait for it to make that second leapfrog. I'm guessing from your answer, they need you to send the U.S. bank account details to provide you. I'm like I said, I haven't figured out for sure. I gave them the information based on what they asked for, and with Transferwise, I know you have your bank account set up to transfer it to Transferwise, but as far as just sending it to Transferwise, I don't know if they need. I basically sent them my bank account information, and then I sent them another email with my Transferwise. So I'm going to try both of them side by side and see which takes longer. I'm assuming the Transferwise process to get it to my bank account will take longer, but getting it into my Transferwise account, I'm anticipating that will be faster, like you mentioned. First time catching me live. I'm glad I was able to. I've been going live sporadically, basically whenever I get a moment to breathe in between editing and doing all this other stuff and running around. I've been doing a lot of errands this week, so I've been in and out. I did one live video at like 4 a.m. or like 3 a.m. A few nights ago when I was running on very little sleep. So this is probably a much more coherent version of me that you're catching. The other one, I don't even want to watch it because I'd probably take it down out of embarrassment. Yes, there definitely is a chance. I'm assuming that they're using Transferwise on their end to send it, because I just for expeditious process. Because when they hit send from their account, it's out. So it's not like they want something that would take longer. And they did mention that they've got an attorney and a couple of accountants helping them with the refunds just to make sure everything's above board and accurate. Right now, it's a very manual process because they want to make sure that no one's scamming your accounts and liquidating your funds without really being you. So they're doing their due diligence to make it as fast as possible. But unfortunately, it's manual. Eventually, they will have an automated process that will make all of this way easier. Cool. Thanks for the answer. My pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. How long do you think it is until some big YouTuber does a video on Earth2 and the game goes super viral? They attribute the virality so far to, I think, a person named Dallas on TikTok. That's how I found out about it, was TikTok, not through Dallas, but I just saw some other people. I'm a cryptocurrency nerd. I was early on cryptocurrency, but I wasn't early. Like, I was getting Ethereum like 30 something bucks. That was the first thing I got in at Ethereum and Litecoin and Ethereum Classic. So I forget even what year that was, but I wasn't super early to crypto, just early compared to all of my friends. And I always look for something new. I know there's going to be so much interesting stuff popping off. So when I saw this and I saw the similarities and the parallels and the potential to cryptocurrency, I was very attracted and I jumped right on. But yeah, a YouTuber, the YouTube audience, like someone mentioned like Mr. Beast. Everybody knows Mr. Beast is a massive YouTuber. All it takes is that dude to do one video. Or what was the other one? PewDiePie. I don't follow either of these dudes, but I know they're massive influencers. If those guys mention this in a video and they don't even explain it, it will explode. So if you've already got your money in, good on you. If not, check out my other videos, the do's and don'ts, the things to look out for. Even if you've got your money in, if you're not aware of the scams and all the stuff to look out for, I've got a video on scams that a lot of people have found beneficial and explains, why prices jump up and the fact that you shouldn't be chasing these prices that are escalating too rapidly, because a lot of times they're just being pumped. So I'm going to jump off. I'm glad I was able to keep up with all your comments and questions. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to go grab myself a chocolate milkshake because I am a child. And thank you guys for your support. Thanks for tuning in. If there's anything else, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're on the right channel. All of you guys who are watching this live, you guys are on the right channel. So make sure you're subscribed. You got those alerts on so you catch future stuff. And other than that, good luck investing. Again, don't play with anything you can't afford to lose. And, be safe out there.